Works Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. Works Power and Garden Tools. CVA muzzle loaders. It's just a better gun. Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. True Turn Hooks, hook more fish. Furminator, the best food plot implements on earth. Roadrunner Lures, Roadrunner equals more fish. Arctic Ice, the most durable and versatile cooler packs. Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
Boys and girls from high in the North Georgia mountains and the Bojangles studio. I'm repeating it. This is Works Radio. Welcome to the program, everyone. Yes, indeed. Been away from the microphone for a few weeks. Had to take a break, and I'm glad to be back, and maybe we can make something out of this. It's funny that I forgot where everything was here, the buttons to push and what not to push. It's been great fun. But we have an unused Saturday morning to handle on Works Radio this morning, and we hope that you'll join us. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750. That's 404-872-0750 in North Georgia and all across the country at 800-972-8255. 800-972-8255. 38 states. Every Saturday morning, the number one live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country, and it's because of your call. So let me tell you, this program is brought to you, not surprisingly, by Works Tools, Stripling's General Store, Snellville Heating and Air, Georgia Department of Natural Resources, True Turn Hooks, and Roadrunner Lures, Fisher's Choice Baits, Gin Spring Power Generators, Tough Shed, Storage Buildings and Garages, Big Green Egg Smokers and Grills, Mark Hurd Fuel, all exterminating, Arctic Ice, and Rocco's Pub. I'm going to go there tonight. Man, what great wings and great everything else. So, that's the sponsor list out of the way. And what are we going to do today? Well, it's my pleasure to invite you to watch O'Neill Outside Television on the following networks. All the Fox regionals, Fox Sports South, Fox Phoenix, Fox Texas, Fox Florida, Hunt TV, My Outdoor TV, Waypoint TV, the Hunt Channel, Gone TV, Carbon TV, YouTube TV, O'Neill Outside, and Amazon Prime. Well, that sounds like enough of a promo, doesn't it? We'll have the radio prize package. The VOD will have the radio prize package. As I said, I'm telling you what, being away from the microphone, I'm rusty. And so with that in mind, we need to take a break. This is O'Neill. I'll be back. Well, welcome back, everyone. I still have some self-promotion to go through, and then we'll start getting to the calls. We will have on the program today the radio prize package, the Who Is This question. I always like for you to learn something when we can. We'll have the Medal of Honor tribute in the second hour. And so we'll have some fun here talking outdoors, and we'll get to all the calls as we can. Somebody came in, and then they left already. I guess they did have a question that needed to be answered. So we've been away, and I hope you've missed us. My goodness. We have really enjoyed we've really enjoyed sleeping in. I'll tell you that right now. But here we are back again, and we'll hope you'll be part of the show today. 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. Now, one of this every single week, I've decided to have the number one fishing tip of the week. It supersedes all other fishing tips this week. We'll talk about those things, but I'm going to get to it right now because it's so very important. Now, Gail and I live in the North Georgia mountains. You've heard that over and over again, and it's not very far from Lake Lanier. I grew up in Atlanta. Nobody grows up in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta. And I started fishing at Lake Lanier in 1957. The dam closed in 1954, and I started fishing with a buddy and his dad in 1957. I believe Lake Lanier is still the number one most visited Corps of Engineers lake in North America. Yes, it is, because it's so close to one of the major cities, that being Atlanta, and generally in the territory of 4.5 or 5 million people. Lake Lanier is practically a suburb. And if you've been there, if you go there, take my word for it, if you haven't, it's busy. Lake Lanier is ultra busy. So here's the number one tip for you for this week. Boat gas and alcohol doesn't mix. It's a wonder to me, after being on Lake Lanier so long with so many people, and it's so well populated, it's a wonder to me that more people don't die on that lake, because it is a party-hardy place. If you're driving a bass boat, a pontoon boat, a cruiser, some of the boats on the Lanier that go 70 and 80 and 90 and 100 miles an hour, boat gas, boat fuel, outboard and inboard boat fuel, and alcohol do not belong together in your boat. Okay, there you are. Now let's this is always such a pleasure. Line number 6 here. Here's our friend Don calling from
Ocean Isle, North Carolina.
You're the greatest, man. Have you missed me?
I sure have.
Well, good.
We missed you a whole lot, and glad you're back.
Well, we'll be back for a long time, I hope. We have plans to continue this madness well into the future. Oh, boy.
Well, that's great. Maybe I'll make it for another 28 years.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you've been calling as long as anyone has, that's for sure. So how's the fishing on the coast, and how are you, sir?
Well, it's been sort of ups and downs like the waves over here with what we've been through for the past year, but it's beginning to open up. I'm seeing some of the boats run offshore now going off to the Gulf Stream, and that's always a pleasant experience. There's always something biting out there. O'Neill, we were fishing the other day and caught a remora. And we've caught a bunch of those things out there, but it's the first time I ever looked at the thing real close. They're about, the largest I've seen is about 20 to 24 inches long. Mm-hmm. They're a long, slender fish. And they're the ones that attach themselves to sharks. And they've got a sucker mechanism on the top of their head to do that with. And They swim right behind the gills, and whatever food that the shark comes out of his mouth, they pick that up, and that's just a weird, strange fish. And
how did you catch this fish? You were just
they bite a hook.
They
will bite anything. That we were using cut bait, so as a result, that's how we caught them. So
yeah, he was separated from the shark.
Well, they travel elsewhere other than just with the shark. So I guess and I'm sure where we were, they may have been some sharks down there. So.
Right. Oh yeah, he's everywhere.
Yep. We caught a moray eel on that trip.
Let me ask you, because so many people have been listening to your calls over the years. Where is Ocean Isle, North Carolina?
we're between Wilmington, North Carolina, and Myrtle Beach, 35 miles from each. We're on the portion of the Carolina that runs east and west.
Okay.
And due south from here is straight offshore. So.
Mm-hmm. How far, when you say you run, we treat things sometimes, we have so many conversations about it, we know so much about it, sometimes the audience needs to have a reference. So when you say you and some of your buddies run to the Gulf Stream, how far is that from Ocean Isle?
Well, like I say, we run east and west, so we've got about a 65-mile jaunt to get to the edge of the Gulf Stream.
Okay.
And then we're about another, 30 miles to the continental shelf.
Okay.
Well,
that's quite
a... right there is 130, and then it drops off to, 600, 700, 800 feet, and more as you gradually go out.
How about, all right, now, you and I have so many times, well, we're going to run to the Gulf Stream. What is the Gulf Stream? What's its current? How wide is it, and where is it headed?
It varies. Sometimes it's close in as much as 50 miles. Sometimes it's 60, 65. Water speed of the Gulf Stream is about 8 knots.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably 70 miles wide, and it goes off the coast of Florida all up to off the coast of the Newfoundland and up in there, and then it goes out to sea.
Right. Well, it helps.
The weird thing.
Go ahead.
Underneath the Gulf Stream, occasionally the Labrador Current is underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have the warm water of the Gulf, and then you get down to where you get the cold water of the Labrador Current.
Well, the Gulf Stream is part of what keeps England and some of those countries in that area from freezing up over the winter, does it not?
That's correct. It goes over there and comes back down, and then it comes back down. There's a current that comes down the coast of Europe.
How about that? Well, I think all that's fascinating. Just absolutely fascinating.
But it does create a lot of good fishing out there. Sometimes you get into the Gulf and you catch wahoo is very predominant out there in that area.
Well, one of my opinions that I hastily give out is that I believe I can't read Hemingway anymore. I've read all of his books, and I can't read them anymore. They're too slow, okay, for me now.
Right.
But I do think he had the greatest titles of his books. And a lot of people don't realize one of the titles was Islands in the Stream. And he's talking about Bimini and those islands off the coast of Florida that were islands in the Gulf Stream.
Well, we never have read that.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, you can't go wrong if, you change your taste. All right, I got to go, pal. Listen, have a great weekend, okay?
All right, partner, welcome back, and I sure enjoy you.
Thanks a lot, pal. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
This is O'Neill. We'll be back with a radio prize package. Welcome back, everyone. We're getting back in the groove here this morning. This is Works Radio. My name is O'Neill Williams, and this is a regular program, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. live on WSB, covering 38 states every Saturday morning. And one of the high points of the first hour of the program, among so many other things, is the radio prize package. Here are the telephone numbers that you can call to be a part of the radio prize package and offer an answer. 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. Now, you have to be 18 years old to win, and you have not won a prize package, say, for the last 6 months. And the questions are always about me, about Gail, about the show, so that it's not just trivia. You have to be a regular listener to the show to know the answer. It's not just trying to direct attention to us, but that's, we're rewarding our listeners. This week's question is the following. Where is it? Oh, okay. Gail and I live in the mountains of North Georgia. We live on a particular mountain. What is the name of the mountain on which we live here in North Georgia? You've heard me say it on the radio show thousands of times. And if you'll call those numbers, let's see if I've got some calls here already. I'll bet so. If you'll call those telephone numbers and offer the right answer that is, we'll send you a DNR Regs magazine, a Big Green Egg Koozie kit, an Angler magazine, a Georgia State Parks guide, Fisher's Choice baits, a selection of True Turn tackle, a HydroShot glass, a Realtree hat, and decal combo, and a Bojangles $10 gift card. So there's the question. And if we'll scoop us up an answer, and we'll give away some prizes. So one of the things I want to do today is I like to make, sitting here at my desk, I can make recommendations about things for you to do while you're fishing. And the following tip is something that I want you to do if you fish major reservoirs, not ponds, not streams, but major reservoirs that are all over Georgia, Alabama, all through the Appalachians, the Carolinas, Tennessee, even out in Texas, whereby you have stripers or hybrids or things of that nature that operate in that they're pelagic, they roam, if you will, and you're subject to seeing a school of these fish come up most anytime, anywhere. So, when you're fishing on these major reservoirs, have a long-distance casting rod and an appropriate bait available so that you just, a school of hybrids or a school of stripers come up, and you don't have time because they won't stay up long. You will not have time to say, let me get out something that I can, with a light line that I can cast a long way. I can put on a spoon, I can put on a bucktail, and I'll catch one of these. No, because by the time you do all that, the school is gone. Have it always ready. So whatever it is that you're doing, just drop that rod. Don't reel it up. You need to get a bait out there right now. And it might be a long distance. So a long rod, relatively light line, and a small bait like an imitation, like a bucktail, a Hopkins spoon, a Sidewinder spoon, even a surface float, a chugging surface float with a bait that follows it as if a fish is feeding. So, okay, we do have a winner and the radio prize package. So we'll get to that. Well, let's just do that right now on line number 1, and that is Phil. Phil is calling on O'Neill Outside this morning. Good morning, Phil. Well, you know the answer? Yes, indeed. Sassafras Mountain, and it made it worthwhile for you to get up this morning. Are you on the way to work, or you just get up early, or on the way to the lake? What?
On the way turkey hunting.
Ah,
down in Middle Georgia.
This is the last weekend, isn't it?
Last day.
Last day today.
Day.
I had a friend call me yesterday, and he got one late yesterday afternoon after hunting multiple times. How has your season been?
Our gobbling has been really good this year, but we've had so many hens down there where we're at that kind of messed us up, but we've had a good time.
Okay.
Really enjoy it.
Well, that's what counts. How many did you get this season?
2 so far. So
okay. And this is the last day. So you got some of them. You got some of them located, huh?
Yes, sir.
Vocal birds. What part of Georgia are you hunting?
We're about 30 miles below Macon in Twiggs County, Georgia.
Okay. Well, that's that's the low spot down in there, down along the river,
Yes,
huh?
sir. Yes,
Oh.
sir. We didn't have turkeys down here probably 25 years ago, not many, but we got plenty of them now.
All right, that's good. Yeah, the turkey population exploded about anywhere from 40 to 25 to 40 years ago, but now it's kind of taken a hit. Had some poor hatches over the last few years, but I'm glad you're enjoying it today. What kind of call do you use?
I like to use a slate call most of the time.
Okay, it's loud enough. I use a box
Yeah.
call because it's so loud.
Right. Yeah, I use box call some too.
I'm
I
not
love the slate call.
I'm not good with a mouth call. I sound like a duck.
Yeah, me too.
I had a really good friend. I'm really talkative this morning. I'm sorry, but
That's okay.
I had a really good friend. His name is Dick Kirby. Have you ever heard of him?
Yep. I met him one time up at the turkey thing they have up in the mountains. I can't remember where it's at now.
Right.
Unicoi?
Well, yeah,
Yes,
Dick
sir.
Kirby, he invented or made the first Quaker Boy game call.
Right.
And he was an awfully nice guy. Just
Yeah, he was. I met him up there, and he was a super nice guy. And I still got some of his calls too. Some
Oh,
of his
do
old
you?
Calls. Yeah.
Good, me too. Well, I'll tell you something funny about him. He, which I think is funny, Dick Kirby could call elk, moose, turkeys, ducks, geese, sandhill cranes, everything without a call.
Right.
He did not need a call.
Yes, sir.
He was that talented. And I've been sitting, he called in for me in Oklahoma a long time ago. He called in for me the biggest whitetail I ever took.
Really.
Yeah, he made sounds like a doe.
Right.
And that big deer walked right in. He thought there was a hot
about
doe
that?
close by.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Those old
Yes, he
outdoor
was a super
stories,
nice guy.
yes, those old outdoor stories really last, don't they?
Yes, sir. They
You-
do.
You bet. All right, my good friend, do we have your information?
Yes, sir.
Well, good. It was worthwhile, and thanks for joining us. Good luck to you today, pal.
Oh, thank you a lot, O'Neill.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
You bet. See you soon there, I hope. Okay. Let's see. It's 34 after the hour, and now let's chat now with Robert is calling on Works Radio. Good morning, Robert.
O'Neill.
Right, you're on the air. You headed for the woods?
Yes, sir. We headed down below Sandersville to our property turkey hunting this morning.
Good for you. You got some located?
Yes, sir. We've had a good year down here this year.
Fantastic.
I heard you mention earlier you were talking about reservoir fishing.
Yes.
I recently put together a boat that I do a lot of reservoir fishing at the new Hard Labor Reservoir. You fish there yet?
Yeah, Hard Labor Creek, yeah.
Yep, the new reservoir there. It's been pretty good so far. For the bass are hitting pretty good there.
Well, let's see. That reservoir is, 3 years old? 4?
I think it's maybe 4 years old
4
now.
years. Well, this is the best year it'll be, probably. Last year, this year, and next year, it'll never be any better than it is right now.
It's a tough lake to fish. There's still a lot of standing timber,
Uh-huh.
a lot of brush in the water. It's tough to fish, but it's worth it when you get on them. You catch some nice bass in there right now.
Fantastic. Well, what a great place. A new water. There's nothing like it.
Yes, sir.
Well, good luck to you
Yeah.
today.
All right, sir. I'll talk to you again on them.
Hey, now you owe me a call next week. Let me know what you did, okay?
All right. You know, you and I have a mutual friend, but I haven't met you at his place yet, though, Roddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's Roddy. That's one of my very best friends. Friendly, accommodating. I was on his property this week, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he's I usually dove hunt out there at his
Uh-huh.
place. But he's I like his little museum he's got out there.
He's beautiful. He's a great guy. All right, I got to go, pal.
Yeah,
Good
he
luck to you. Be sure and call me next week.
I'll do it, O'Neill. Thank you.
Mighty fine. This is O'Neill with Works Radio. We have more turkey hunting calls, more fishing calls, and more recommendations and more rhetoric from O'Neill when we get back. Welcome back, everyone. In case you just joined us, you're listening to Works Radio, O'Neill Outside, Saturday mornings 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., the number one live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country. Welcome back, everyone. Let's talk now to Wade is calling. He always gives us a call, brings us up to date. Good morning, Wade.
Good morning, O'Neill. How you doing, buddy?
Outstanding. How about you? What kind of project are you working on today?
Putting a coat of the polyurethane on that dining room table I refinished.
You've always got a project, don't you, Wade?
Yeah, I had to put a French drain in. We had a water problem that 4
Oh,
inches of
boy.
rain we got last week.
Oh, boy.
30 hours.
Yeah, it's funny.
Got a public service announcement there, Mr. O'Neill.
Okay, I'm listening.
All right, you fellas out there turkey hunting, fishing?
I'm done. Yeah, this
Don't
is the
want
last
what I
day in
got.
Georgia.
I had a tick bite me about 4 inches above my knee on my thigh.
Uh-huh.
Looked like a big old knot come up there about 2 days later. Didn't think much about it. It'll be all right. Then all of a sudden it come to a head. Well, took me some, done some little self-doctoring. Got it busted, opened up. Then all of a sudden I got a big old bullseye above my knee.
Oh, God.
Lyme disease is no joke, buddy.
Oh, you don't have it, do you?
Yes, sir. I was
Oh.
diagnosed with it. Tuesday will be 2 weeks ago. I have never felt muscle pain. And I used to work out with a buddy of mine, Lee Davis, at the complex, the Falcon Complex, and run, ride my bicycle all the time, do deep squats to build my big legs up. I ain't never felt pain in my life. It's like you got a leg cramp in both legs, in the calf and the hamstring. Walking to the bathroom is a chore.
Well,
Climbing the steps is a mountain to a molehill to Mount Everest.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Wade. I have heard many years ago about a few people that have had it, and the experience is poor. That's for sure.
It attacks your muscles and your joints. And I had hyperextended my elbow a long, long time ago wrestling with old Andy Puckett. We played it was probably about 18, 20. And my elbow feels like it's been hyperextended. Everything, you hurt everywhere.
Well, tell everybody,
how
how
do
does
like no little whiny girl, but my butt's whooped.
how do you get Lyme? Listen, for all our listeners, our outdoor guys, how do you get Lyme disease?
Tick bite.
From a tick bite. So,
And he's a little old bitty bugger, too. I saved him.
oh, you did?
When I took him off, not him, I got bit about 3 days later. I put him in a little Ziploc bag because I'd already made my doctor's appointment. He said, come on in as soon as you can get here. I got to get you shot up with some antibiotics. They got me on some, I think it's tetracycline or something generic for it.
How long do you anticipate having the disease? What does your doctor say?
He said 2 to 3 weeks
Okay.
before it fades away. But now they give me some muscle relaxers, some Flexeril.
Yeah.
Because I had some from when I fell a couple years ago and hurt my side.
Uh-huh.
And I took one. I couldn't hardly move. I took one. I had two. And I called the nurse, told her, I said, this is helping. It wasn't 30 minutes later. She said, go to the pharmacy. We called you some in. Other than that, doing pretty good.
Other than the fact you're crippled and you feel like hell, you're good. Well,
I'm telling you, buddy, it's painful. I mean, getting up just to get out of the chair to let the dogs in or out the back door.
mm-hmm.
I sound like a 90-year-old man when I get
Oh,
up. Oh.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Wade. Well, maybe you've only got a week or two left, huh?
It's getting better by the day.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
The more I make myself do, the better off I am. The bad
I'll
part
bet.
about it is stop, sit down, eat a sandwich for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
You've lost 30 minutes to get warmed back up.
Oh, boy. Well, I'll be feeling for you, and we'll expect you to call next week and tell us how much better you are.
I'll do it. But Michael been doing a little fishing. I hadn't had a chance. We've been busy with stuff around the house.
Mm-hmm.
Went downstairs, and all that water went down to the foundation,
Oh.
down the block wall, the back, down the floor, and had to dig me a French drain on the back, put me some corrugated pipe with holes in it, some gravel and dirt, a little bit of landscaping. But Gary ended up doing most of it. I couldn't do it so much.
Well, you're always hard at it. All right, Wade, I'll hear from you next week, pal.
All right, buddy. Maybe I have some fishing stories for you. Hopefully, I'll get over here next Thursday.
I'd love that. I really would. There you go. All right, 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta area. And outside the Atlanta area and across the country is 800-972-8255. That's 800-972-8255. It's AM on your 750 AM on your dial and 95.5 FM. And, of course, you can listen on the WSB app on your cell phone. You can watch the show on Facebook beginning on Monday. And to tell you also that Monday afternoons, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, O'Neill is live at O'Neill Outside Facebook. And we talk much like we do now. We'll handle a subject or two. And if you could join us, I always give away, where's that? We always give away a Works Axis reciprocating saw. There's always a prize to be had if you're listening, Donnie. That's how I get the listeners. I give away stuff. Well, I don't give away anything. I just collect stuff to be given away. So I appreciate you joining us as always. And so you can watch this show beginning Monday afternoon, and it stays on Facebook at O'Neill Outside. And then we're live on Facebook at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday afternoon. So you're getting a big dose of O'Neill, I'm afraid. All right, let's see. We've got 46. Yeah, we've got time for this. Let's talk to John in Lilburn. Good morning, John. You're on the air. Welcome to the program.
O'Neill, how you doing?
Outstanding.
I'm not coming to you live. I'll be back next week, and I'll ask you a question.
Oh.
No, I'm just messing with you. How you doing, buddy? We missed you.
Well, I ain't missed any meals. We just had a lot of things come up all at once from not only from here, but engineering-wise and everything. So we took a few weeks off and enjoyed it very much.
I mean, it's been some good shows, you know.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. I have, but it's good to have you live. Did you get a winner on that?
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, did you blood dope him in case I come in second runner-up?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, John.
I said, did you blood dope him like that horse so I can come in second runner-up?
Yeah, that was good. Let's see, the Preakness this weekend?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well.
It sure is.
Think about it. I like to put things in perspective, if I can.
Uh-huh.
Racehorses are the biggest athletes in the world.
Boy, that's the truth.
And they are spectacular.
They are big. If
and
you've ever been up to
the great, O'Neill always has some information that I think is important, and I think you'll find interesting. When Secretariat, I think I'm correct, when Secretariat won the Triple Crown, and I think it was 1973.
Somewhere like that.
Yeah. That horse set a record for the Kentucky Derby.
Biggest stride.
And the Preakness and the Belmont. And all three of his records have never been broken.
I don't doubt. Have you ever been to Lexington and seen?
I have not.
Concrete markers that show his stride from back foot to front foot.
Oh yeah.
It is incredible. You have to walk his stride.
How about that? I did read once, and here again, this is my fascination with things of that nature. When he died, he lived to be 18 or 19 years old, and they discovered about him, his heart was 2.5 times the size of a regular thoroughbred.
No kidding.
So
Wow.
he had a pump in him that nobody could match.
Sure did.
How about that? Secretariat, the greatest racehorse who ever lived.
He was.
Yes,
He was.
indeed.
Well, I did have a question for you if you got
Okay.
a minute. Okay, and I have called you before about owls and turkeys.
Uh-huh.
One question. I hear they don't get along. Is that true?
Nobody gets along with an owl.
Okay.
He's the
All
ultimate
right, well.
predator. Nothing gets along with an owl except other owls, and even then, marginally.
And that's my second question.
Uh-huh.
Is I have the owls have come back. They've done some construction or deconstruction around my house, and the owls have come back.
Okay.
Thank God. But I hear them start to establish territory, I guess. But I hear the young barred owls.
Uh-huh.
And I'll hear them. They'll do that. And
You do a good job with that. That's good.
well, thank you. But I'll hear one do that, and I hear another in the distance, and then they meet up,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear the darndest squabble, and I don't know if they're making love or making war.
Well, it could be either one. What you'll recognize if it is a mating meet, the female has it's called a cackle.
Yeah, it is. It's like a cluck.
Right. Well, that's the female.
Uh-huh.
That's the female.
Yeah.
That's the mating call.
So they're having fun. Okay.
Yeah, they're getting to know each other. Yeah.
Because it makes the darndest noise for about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. That's fun and for other. I'm sure you've done it, but for other people listening to the show, if you will go to the internet or go to your phone so that you can listen to some of the calls, then that is a really interesting subject for a child in the woods to be able to identify the various calls, whether it's a red tail or an owl, a barred owl, a screech owl, a crow, and a pileated woodpecker. All of those things are interesting to be able to identify.
Yeah. You're right. That's a good point. Yeah, of course, my wife isn't much in the outdoors, but we have a porch, and we're fortunate to have a good bit of wildlife. And we've got a big red cockaded woodpecker.
Okay.
I mean, a big one.
Yeah.
And he goes through the woods. And you can hear his wings hit the leaves. He's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll sit on a stump somewhere, and you hear him go, thump, 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 And she goes, "What is that?" And of course, when he speaks, he laughs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a bird call, and so it's kind of fun talking to her about it.
Yeah, the pileated woodpecker. That is a protected species. Also,
Sure he is. Well, you know why?
Not very many of them, for one thing.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He tastes like eagle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what does he taste like? He tastes like a bald eagle. Yeah.
Like a bald eagle, that's right. Well, listen, it's good to have you back, my friend. I wanted to say hello, and thanks for your info. It's always good to have you on Saturday morning.
It's always good to hear your voice, John, and we'll be in touch. You call next week, and we'll find something else interesting to talk about. You bet. I'll see you soon. All right, I got to get out of here right now. This is Works Radio, O'Neill Outside, and we have a lot of calls. And so John in New York is coming up next. This is O'Neill. We'll be back. Okay, let's wrap up the first hour of Works Radio this morning with a call from John from the Catskill Mountains. Good morning, John.
Yes, greetings from the Catskill Mountains. It's kind of coincidental that you guys were talking about owls, and that's just exactly what I've been seeing out in the woods the past few days and watching, the barred owl in particular. And actually, O'Neill, I just sent you a photograph yesterday of one I took. He was dozing off in the tree. I kind of snuck up on him and watched him. Even though they're dozing off, they're still hunting. The chipmunks are out during the day.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, he was after them. And a hawk flew over top of him. A red-tailed hawk passed by. I don't know if he even knew the owl was there or not, but, you guys mentioned hawks and enemies of owls and such like that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I enjoy your photos, John. Just beautifully done.
Appreciate it. I see you put the one of the partridge strutting on your Facebook page.
Right.
I was thankful. That partridge there, 3 years in a row I've been photographing him. This is the first year he's strutting because he had a hen coming in all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I never did actually see him mate. They went to, I think, get a hotel room in the brush somewhere. But I actually had my brother down there a couple of weeks ago. I had 2 blinds set up because they were all over the place, and I put my brother in one. He had the partridge strutting, walking right by him. He got a kick out of that because it's kind of rare to see,
Certainly.
And I'm glad to have spent the time.
Well, your skills at photography are most welcome and highly developed for sure. I really enjoy your photos that you send me.
Well, appreciate it. Thanks to share it with people. I'm thankful to have the ability, and I've been blessed.
Well,
I'll just put it that way.
Well, you practice it often, so you can get better and better and better.
It keeps me out of trouble.
There you are. Well, good. Glad to hear from you, John. We're back on the air now after a few weeks away, and glad to hear from you. I want you to have a wonderful weekend, and be sure and call next week and let me know what your next project is.
Sure, you bet. Thanks a lot.
You bet. Thank you, John. This is O'Neill with Works Radio. We're going to take the break for the news, and we'll be back.
Works Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits, Works Power and Garden Tools, CVA muzzle loaders, it's just a better gun, Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience, Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings, True Turn Hooks, hook more fish, Furminator, the best food plot implements on earth, Roadrunner Lures, Roadrunner equals more fish, Arctic Ice, the most durable and versatile cooler packs, Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait, and the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, State Parks and Historic Sites.
Boys and girls from Three Falls Cabin, high in the mountains of North Georgia, and the Bojangles Studio. This is Works Radio with a brand new, unused Saturday morning, and I hope you can join us over the next hour. We've got 1 hour under our belt without a single political conversation. Whew, isn't that refreshing? I'm here to tell you that you can watch O'Neill Outside television on Fox Regional Sports Networks and MOTV, Waypoint TV, Carbon TV, The Hunt Channel, YouTube TV, O'Neill Outside website, and Amazon Prime. A lot of self-promotion goes on when we start the program every morning. So we'll have the we'll have the Who Is This question in this hour, along with the Medal of Honor tribute, and, of course, your calls. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750, or outside the Atlanta calling area and across the East Coast is 800-972-8255. Proudly, this program is brought to you every Saturday morning by Works Tools, Stripling's General Store, Snellville Heating and Air, Georgia Department of Natural Resources, True Turn Hooks, and Roadrunner Lures, Fisher's Choice Baits, Gin Spring Power Generators, Tough Shed Storage Buildings, Big Green Egg Smokers and Grills, Mark Hurd Fuel, all exterminating Arctic Ice, and Rocco's Pub. So we've got a busy little while to do this morning. We have calls, and you guys hold on if you can. I'll get to you in a couple of minutes, but thanks for joining us on Saturday morning. It's been our pleasure to be doing this now. I believe this is our 29th year. My goodness, who would have thought? 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. And, of course, this show is televised, and you can watch it on O'Neill Outside Facebook page. I don't, because I was here, but you can, and we'll get to the calls when we return. I'll be back. Welcome back. On the radio program right now, you're listening to the theme song or the theme music from a movie called, The Bridges of Madison County, on radio right now. You're not on television. But I will tell you that you'll be surprised. That music was written by Clint Eastwood. Gosh, see the things you learn? Okay. All right, welcome back. We've got a lot of calls. Want to get to all of them. We do have the Who Is This segment and the Medal of Honor coming up. But right now, because he's been holding on quite a while, let's get to Alan, calling from Tallahassee, Florida. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning, O'Neill. How's it going?
Hey, outstanding.
You doing all right?
Yeah, doing fine. How about you? You're on the radio, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, we took our annual trip this year, now that all this stuff's gone, over to the St. John's. And, O'Neill, you ever been in that situation where you were at the right place at the right time with the right bait in the right weather?
Well,
it was unbelievable this year.
Not very often, but I have before. I get to go to a lot of great places. So tell me about it.
But this year we got to do something different. Down here in the state of Florida, especially between, like Lakeland, Gainesville, over to the coast, over to the river, they dig out sulfur or some kind of chemicals they get out of the land. But they have these big, huge earth movers that dig these stuff, and once they get done, the state requires them to put that back better than they found it. And most time they turn them into lakes, So we got to fish one of these lakes, and O'Neill, the fishing was just unbelievable.
That's good. New lakes. The new lakes from their second, third, fourth, and fifth year is the best years for a new lake. They never.
Well, I just heard you talking about they just built a new one up there at Hard Labor Creek.
Correct.
They started that a couple years ago, but they didn't have it finished before I moved. I used to play golf out there all the time at the state park. And but I heard that boy say that lake's doing really well.
Oh yeah, the first few years of the lake is the best years. Or if something changes dramatically, like at Lake Lanier, when fishermen put in the blueback herring, it made Lake Lanier new again. But it required a change.
But this year down here in Florida, North Florida, fishing has been really, really good this year.
Fantastic.
But we took, we go over to the St. Johns River every year. There's 4 of us go, and the 6 days we were there, we were there on the full moon in March. I thought they'd be on the bed by then, and there were some, but we caught most of them right in the mouths of the creeks. stage, hold up.
Yeah, they were staging.
And we caught them anywhere from, the biggest one we caught was 9 pounds.
Oh, boy.
And but I mean, we caught over 100 fish in 6 days.
Fantastic! What a great trip. Did you take a lot of photos?
So, yeah, we take a lot. They do. I mean, I'm more into making sure everybody else is, having a good time.
Right.
I'm usually, the one that's kind of waiting on everybody. So, but I have a blast doing it, though.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
So,
what a great trip to report.
Fish. I recommend that to anybody that has a bucket list to come to Florida, especially on the full moons in March and April, and fish the St. Johns River, or anywhere in North Florida. Actually, to be honest with you, I tell you one lake that's really come back, O'Neill, is Lake Jackson here in Tallahassee. It used to be one of the best lakes in the country.
It was famous,
and,
very famous.
Now it has really come back. And I was over there the other day, and not for long, and I did really well.
Oh, good.
And I really wasn't making an effort at it, but that lake has really come back after they lost it like they did.
Yeah, it drained.
Yeah, well, they had a sinkhole.
Yeah,
they
that water.
They told me
I need to go, but I'll tell you, the water for Jackson Lake comes from Georgia.
Oh yes, sir. All this water here in North Florida comes out of Georgia.
That's right, from the water table. All right, I got to go,
yes,
pal.
Sir.
Hey, call me next week. Tell me about your next adventure.
Hey, how's Miss Gail doing, buddy?
Thanks a lot, pal. There you go. Now let's talk to Mac. He's calling. Good morning, Mac. What do you say? Where have you been?
I've been fishing, dude.
Okay, well, I'm the one that hadn't been here, right?
I was getting ready to say where you been. There you go. Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd turn the tables on you there for a minute.
It's not that far from the cabin down to the headwaters of Lanier,
No, not very far at all. No, that's right.
Yep. So, no, we've been fishing, although I took a couple of days off this week. I had one. My youngest graduated, so we took a couple of days off to celebrate. Yeah.
Good for you.
So I'm excited for her and opportunities. But, yeah, we took a couple of days to enjoy that. But next week we'll have to make up. We'll have to fish twice as much.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, it was worthwhile to take the time off to see her graduate.
Absolutely. That was exciting times.
Now, for everybody to know, that's graduate from college.
That's correct. She is going into nursing, took a job at Children's Hospital in New Orleans, which just happens to have some really good fishing opportunities. Just saying.
Matter of fact, since I know you're going to want to visit.
Oh, yeah. I told her, I said, I may be here a lot more than you want me.
That's right. So, therefore, you will go with me to Cajun Vista Lodge the third week of October of this year and witness the best inshore saltwater fishing on the coast of the United States.
Well, like I said, I'm sold.
Okay.
Actually, I'm familiar with that largely through you, that Cajun Vista, but I would love to experience that. So that would be fantastic.
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So
between now and then, though, we got a lot of fish to catch on Lanier.
Okay,
and fishing's been good here. There's a definite. The one thing I would I won't use warn. That's a improper word. The one thing I would make people aware of, if you go in the lake today, there's fish are all over the place as far as the patterns and the depths. We're kind of stuck in that transition. The water's hanging in the upper 60s. It's been there a while, and that's not bad. But my point being, you'll talk to one guy that's bass fishing, and he caught some with a topwater and 2.5 feet of water, and you talk to the next guy, he's catching them off saddles in 25 feet, and the third guy's catching them off brush in 18. So we've got fish in all phases of spawn, post-spawn, and in that transition. But there's a definite shift to more offshore structures, deeper water, very early summer stuff. Probably it should be they're doing what they should be based on the calendar, but you look at the water temperature a little bit behind. Just be aware of that.
Yeah,
You
it's
got a
been
lot of
steady.
options out there.
Yeah, the water temperature
Yes.
is steady. I'm sure they're scattered all over, huh?
They are. You'll catch them. And the stripers, to some degree, are the same. They're still using the whole lake. And fish being caught up in the rivers all the way to the dam, they are, too, I think, very much making the transition to deeper water, early summer stuff, more down lines.
Mm-hmm.
But there are still some shallow fish. You'll see be ready. You may or may not see schooling fish, but that's starting to happen a little bit.
Okay, now I've
But
got 10 seconds to make the following point. What you're telling me about Lake Lanier and its conditions for water temperature and fish applies to northern Alabama, East Tennessee, the Carolinas, Kentucky, Virginia, all the way to Pennsylvania. Am I right?
You are correct, sir.
Okay, I got to go. Thanks for calling, Mac.
Have a great weekend.
You
Yes,
too,
sir.
pal.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon. This is O'Neill. I'll be back.
Elle and I built our home in the North Georgia
Okay,
mountains
Corey,
years
we'll do
ago.
the Who Is This when we get back. You're listening to, and in some case watching, O'Neill Outside and Works Radio. And right now, at the following telephone numbers, we're going to play a game called Who Is This? I'm going to read you a description of someone famous in the outdoors. And the first correct caller to answer my question will win a package of goods, if you will. Gosh, it's a whole box full of stuff. From All Exterminating. And they will send you a whole box of knives and flashlights and just lots of stuff, okay? It's worthwhile. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. Now, if you've won this before, just give somebody else a break. Don't call in if you know this, because you might. Are you ready? All right, here we go. This fellow was born July the 24th, 1946. He has won the Bassmaster Classic Tournament 4 times, 76, 77, 84, and 1990, tying him with Kevin Van Dam for the most Bassmaster Classic wins. He is considered one of the best anglers of all time, having placed, listen, this is unbelievable, he's placed in the top 10 in over 100 tournaments and winning 17 of those. In 1988, he was voted Angler of the Year by BASS organization. In 2001, he was inducted into the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. On February the 12th, 2019, he beat his own record as the oldest angler to win a Bassmaster Elite Series event when he was 72 years old. On the final day of competition on the St. Johns River, he caught 2 largemouth over 9 pounds each to solidify his victory. Who is this? 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, and we have a lot of callers right now, and I think, do we have a winner, Corey?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. All right, we already have. I got to make these more difficult, don't I? To get more calls and give more people an opportunity. But it doesn't make any difference. What I want you to, if I can selfishly, I will tell you, this is selfish. I would like to think that if you watch O'Neill Outside Television or listen to this radio program, when either one is over, when the television show is over, when the radio show is over, if you listened, you had an opportunity to learn something, not necessarily from me, but from people who call the radio show and my guests on the television show, so that you can learn something. The television show is not about what kind of an angler or a hunter O'Neill or Travis have been. It's about you knowing more than you did. And whomever it is that answers this will win, and they'll know something, and so will you when you find out what the answer is. So, the who is this question? I read it to you, and now let's go to Jim in Athens, Georgia. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, O'Neill.
How did you know the answer to that? Who is this?
Just watching bass fishing my entire life, I guess. I just love the bass fish and kind of follow his career. He's one of the old timers.
All right. And who are we talking about, please?
Rick Clunn.
That's exactly right. Rick Clunn. I fished with Rick once in a tournament. And I'll give you a one-word description of him during that day that I fished with him. Ready?
Yes.
Rick Clunn is an intellectual. He's not just an angler. He is an intellectual angler. And that's what makes him so good so long. So there you are.
He was a heck of a fisherman, I tell you that.
Oh, boy, you betcha. And he is the one who taught me the day that I fished with him, and it was time for some buzz baits. And he taught me that if you get a strike on a buzz bait and the fish misses the bait, don't reel up and throw the buzz bait back. Throw a plastic worm back into the swirl where he missed it, and you'll catch him almost every time.
Outstanding.
Yes, indeed. All right, you on the way to the woods, to the lake? What are you doing?
Headed for turkey hunting. I've got a friend of mine I'm calling for this morning. I killed my limit, so I'm going to go try to call him one up.
Mighty fine. What a great day planned. I appreciate your involvement in the program, and I guess we already have your information, don't we?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
You bet. Thanks for participating, Jim.
Thank you, O'Neill.
You bet. Good luck to you today. Okay, there you are, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. And now here is a tip for this week, okay? And I think of this because of my reference with the story about my day I fished with Rick Clunn. This was, I learned this not from him, but from, I used to fish tournaments long time ago in the late 70s and early 80s, and I haven't since. Those were the days with an old, and believe me, I haven't fished Bassmaster. I'm not that good. I fished local tournaments and some regional tournaments, and I enjoyed it very much. And there was an association many years called the Georgia Bass Anglers. And a lot of people fished at tournaments. We had 100, 120 boats at a time. And I had located bass on a big bedding flat in a creek at Clarks Hill Reservoir. And back then we drew partners. You had people with boats and you had people without boats. And the partner that I drew, I don't remember his name, and I wouldn't give it to you anyway, but he said, "Have you got fish located?" I said, "Yes, I do." And I described it to him. He said, "I know exactly where that is, and so that's great with me. I know the fish are there." We fished that day, and we used buzz baits. I finished 11th, and he finished 3rd. Because in this flat, okay, we're both using buzz baits, and I did not discover until lunchtime almost, when there was only an hour or two left in the tournaments, that he had his trailer hook turned down. I was fishing with my trailer hook on my buzz bait turned up. He did not miss a fish. I did. And that's why he had a greater selection of largemouth to choose from to make his limit. So turn your trailer hook down, and I have a refinement in that. One of the best fishermen to come out of this area of Georgia is a guy named, I hadn't seen him in many years. I hope he's doing well. His name was Clifford Craft. Now, Clifford finished second or third in the Bassmasters Classic. He qualified for the Bassmasters Classic many, many, many times. He was a fabulous angler. And one time he described for me in a conversation over 20 years ago about a Bassmasters Classic, and I think he finished second in the Classic. And what did you do? What were you using? That you want to know about this. And Clifford told me, he said, I went from deep in the pack to second place, and I was using a spinnerbait and buzz baits, and I changed my trailer hook to a treble hook. And it made a difference that I think I caught 3 or 4 more bass to cull. His trailer hook was a big treble hook. Now see, these Bassmaster Classic guys are different. These Bassmaster winners are different. And you can learn from them. So, okay, it's 35 after the hour. We got to go to a break here in just a minute. But I want to give you a tip again. Every week we have the number one bass fishing or number one fishing tip of the week. I'm going to have it every single week, and this is probably the most important fishing tip that I can give you over a period of time, and it's a fishing tip that you can use forever, no matter where you go. You're fishing for stripers, for hybrids, for trout, whatever the case might be, you keep this in mind and you'll be better off. Ready? Absolutely. Boat gas and alcohol do not mix. You follow me? It has a great application. If you'll stick with that rule, there'll be fewer accidents on the lake and less loss of life. This is O'Neill. I'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. This is O'Neill with Works Radio every Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. News Talk 750 WSB 750 on your dial and 95.5 WSB on the FM dial, covering 38 states every Saturday morning. 2 hours of outdoor conversation and outdoor tips and application without a single political discussion. Isn't that refreshing? It is to me, because I will admit to you, I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the news. I don't read the news. I do not have the inclination nor the time to find out how much that information has been manipulated. Okay, enough of that. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255 for Works Radio. So welcome back, everyone. You know, we had a caller earlier, Mac Farr, talking about how with the water temperature in the lakes from the North Florida all the way to Pennsylvania, the water temperature is stabilized in a big way. Now, we are going to approach the time we are now in which many of you will do a lot of crankbait fishing, deep water cranking. Make a long cast with relatively light line, and you're cranking a deep water crankbait. Back when it's funny how they change. I used a Hellbender. Then a Big O was the name of the bait. and they change. Would a hellbender and a Big O still catch them? Of course they would. But new baits come out, new baits are tried. But that's not my point. My point is, if you're in a tournament or you want to relax a little bit and help your fishing, if you're cranking with a free spool bait casting reel especially, if you will put on a glove, a safety glove, a nylon glove like a doctor or a nurse might wear or an EMT would wear, that means you don't have to grip the reel as tightly. It will help you hold the reel. Your hand will not get as tired, and you'll feel the bite better. Okay, and I'll tell you, let me give you a story about that. Many years ago, there was a video. I guess it wasn't on Facebook. God knows where it might have been, or YouTube. But there was a film, a production in which Homer Circle, who was the fishing editor for Sports Afield magazine, and he had an underwater photographer, and they were at Crystal Springs, Silver Springs in Florida, and they got it all set up, and so the water is so clear you could see the fish, you could see the bait, everything, and they were taping it, and Homer made a cast, they taped, and Homer got 3 bites. And the cameraman came up after he reeled up and said, "Why didn't you set the hook?" He said, "I didn't feel them." If we knew how many bites we got from largemouth and spotted bass that we never felt, it would probably, make us stop fishing. We get a lot of bites we don't feel. So maintain the feel, and it'll help you immensely. Here's Jason. Jason is calling from Cumming. Good morning, Jason. You're on O'Neill Outside.
How are you, sir?
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
It's been a minute since I called. I just wanted to call and say hello.
Okay.
And, you were talking about how beer and boat gas don't mix. I was going to tell you, there's something else don't mix. Beer and calculus don't mix either. One should never, ever, ever drink and derive. And that's all I got for you, brother.
Okay. Well said. Well said.
Neil, have a good one, brother. Thanks for doing all you do, man.
All right, good. Thank you for the congratulations and for the call. Yeah, you're right. Calculus and booze doesn't mix. Certainly doesn't on boat gas. I would bet you that if you've had all the boating accidents across the country in fresh water, not salt, but fresh water, around the docks, under the bridges, all of those times, I would bet you alcohol was involved 90% of the time, and that's just my pure estimate. Okay? So, if you don't drink while you're on the lake, then you probably reduce the likelihood that you'll have a boating accident by 90%. Okay, it's 45 after the hour, and we're going to get to the Medal of Honor in just a minute. But I have one more tip, okay? This time of the year, or in major reservoirs all over the country, the fish congregate around the bridges. Every big reservoir's got a bridge, many bridges. And I learned this from another fisherman. His name was Junior Collis, and Junior was a great tournament angler. And what he did was he would hang out around the bridge, and when a boat ran under the bridge and made waves and disturbed the fishery and the fish that are underneath, that's when he would make his cast to the pilings around the bridge. Junior won a lot of tournaments. You might want to give that a try. Okay? All right, now, Corey, let's go for the Medal of Honor.
Honor, courage, and strength of character. These qualities are embodied by the recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now let's recognize this week's Medal of Honor recipient on O'Neill Outside.
John F. Baker Jr., Sergeant, U.S. Army, Vietnam, November 1966. For conspicuous gallantry at the risk of his own life above and beyond the call of duty, en route to assist another unit that was engaged with the enemy, Company A came under intense enemy fire, and the lead man was killed instantly. Sergeant Baker immediately moved to the head of the column and, together with another soldier, knocked out 2 enemy bunkers. When his comrade was mortally wounded, Sergeant Baker spotted 4 Viet Cong snipers, killed all of them, evacuated the fallen soldier, and returned to lead repeated assaults against the enemy positions, killing several more Viet Cong. Moving to attack 2 additional enemy bunkers, he and another soldier drew intense enemy fire, and Sergeant Baker was blown from his feet by an enemy grenade. He quickly recovered and single-handedly destroyed another bunker before the other soldier was wounded. Seizing his fallen comrade's machine gun, Baker charged through the deadly fuselage to silence even another bunker. He evacuated his comrade, replenished his ammunition, and returned to the forefront to brave the enemy fire and continue the fight. When the forward element was ordered to withdraw, he carried 1 more wounded man to the rear. As he returned to evacuate another soldier, he was taken under fire by snipers, but raced beyond the friendly troops to attack and kill those snipers also. After evacuating the wounded man, he returned to cover the deployment of the unit. His ammunition now exhausted, he dragged 2 more of his fallen comrades to the rear. His selfless heroism, fighting spirit, and extraordinary gallantry were directly responsible for saving the lives of his comrades. John F. Baker Jr. He died when he was 67, and he lived in Columbia, South Carolina. 49 after the hour. This is O'Neill, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. I'm going to take a moment now to post you, to reiterate to you that I got a super nasty note from a fellow on Facebook telling me that I had no regard at all for the Medal of Honor winners, that all I was doing in bringing up these Medal of Honor winners and telling the story of how that got started is only to disparage a black entertainer. That was not why I started it. I was making reference to, I forget her name, I'm sorry, it'll come up. I was referring to Whitney Houston, a fabulous singer. Her rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner before the Super Bowl was the #1 I ever heard. She was fabulous. But regrettably, she died, she drowned in her bathtub from a drug overdose. Okay. But the governor of New Jersey made all the flags in New Jersey at half-staff in her honor. That made me mad. When you've got men like the guy that I just described that was awarded the Medal of Honor and nobody knows their names. My bringing this up and using that as the incentive had nothing to do with the fact that Whitney Houston was black. You miserable wretch that made that post on Facebook. You're lucky you're not close by. Okay, enough boasting. It's 52 after the hour. This is O'Neill Outside. Sorry about making the show so personal, but I could not help reiterating to you those reasons, and I'm not going to give you that guy's name, because all of you posted what a shameful act it was for him to say those things about the fact that I bring up the Medal of Honor and give you that description. There's only been 1,500 or so, 3,500 Medal of Honor winners in the history of the United States, and you don't know their names. And I would encourage you, if you will, if it's interesting, if you'll visit O'NeillOutside.com. On the home page, you'll see a medallion on the home page that will connect you to the stories of the Medal of Honor winners. The Medal of Honor recipients. They don't win the Medal of Honor. You are given or awarded the Medal of Honor. Okay, enough about that. I'll settle down. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. You've been listening to O'Neill Outside, Works Radio, every Saturday morning. Did you learn anything today? We learned some things from Mac. We learned some things from some of the tips that we've gathered, and I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and we'll be back with more.
Rest.
Welcome back, everyone. A couple of minutes giving me the opportunity for some more self-promotion. If you'll visit O'Neill Outside, you'll see a book there. It's called O'Neill Outside. Very appropriate, huh? At my website, and if you purchase the book there, I'll personalize it for you and sign it for you and send it to you and all that. That's O'NeillOutside.com, and you can also purchase that book at Amazon. And I'm proud to tell you that all of the reviews are 5 stars. And it's not a how-to book. It's a book about the people and places along the way. 65 years in the outdoors. It may be a pleasant read for you this summer. It won't take you more than a few hours to get through it. And maybe there's a couple of people in there, places and people that might make you smile. Okay, I got to give you a tip here before I go. Your fishing line, is the most important part of your fishing tackle. Think about it. Buzz baits, worms, spinnerbaits, crankbaits, top water, deep water, no matter what. If your line is damaged or no good, it doesn't matter what you use because you're going to break off. So take up the following habit that I learned from another tournament angler. Every time you get hung up or every time you catch a fish, you need to retie. Retie the knot. Clip it off, retie. Do you think you can feel the damage on the line by running your fingers up the line? No, you cannot. You're better off if you retie after every fish and every time you get hung up, every time you're fishing around a dock and you hit, or a bridge, and you hit the bridge or something of that nature. Retie. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us. I always appreciate your calls and your praise, and we invite you to call to be in touch next week, because I'll be darned, next Saturday morning at 4 a.m., what will happen? Works Radio, O'Neill Outside, I promise. And if you're too busy to go fishing, you're too busy, take a child along. And lastly, even if you're crossing a one-way street, look both ways. We'll see you guys next week.
I
once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio.